Travolting presents The Fraser's Edge. Hosted by Jeff Sweeney and Stuart Elmore. Covering Line of Descent. With special guests Justin Campbell.
Mr. Sweeney, you come to me on the day of my daughter's birthday, and you ask me, why is Fraser in this movie?
I believe in America. I don't know.
I thought you were going to go.
He's in this movie because,
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
If an officer who worked with you undercover resulted in all your brothers dying
Yes.
and you being in jail forever,
Yes.
and then talked to you in an interview room and said, hey, by the way, remember that young sister of yours? Well, we're kind of looking to adopt.
Yeah.
Can we,
I'm back. Yeah, sure.
Cool.
I don't need it, so yeah, take it.
Yeah, I'm not taking that kid.
Yeah. Last I checked, they don't allow us to raise kids in jail.
Yeah, typically it's...
Typically, it's the
I mean,
rule.
you can have a kid outside of jail, but if there's no mom in the picture because she is in a asylum, then very normal movie. Very normal movie.
Thank you, folks, and welcome back to The Fraser's Edge.
Thanks for listening to our episode last week on The Poison Rose. We hope you enjoyed it.
We did not.
The Poison Rose wasn't good?
It's the second time we've had to talk about it.
It's a Travolta movie with Brendan in it.
So we've already covered it, but we have to cover it again.
Yeah, The Poison Rose, ... again.
Re-poison.
Swear to God, season 3 is not going to have any actors that are in The Poison Rose.
Yeah, well, we're actually doing Free Men, the Morgan Freeman podcast.
and then well, what's after that? What's the fourth actor that's also in?
Famke
Yes Men.
Yes.
Yes, man.
What's the fifth one?
Who the fuck else is in that movie? We just watched this movie.
Yeah, I think we talked about this on the podcast, but
Robert Patrick.
Robert Patrick.
The Robert Pat cast. Peter Stormare. We could do Peter Stormare. What if we just only do movies?
Guiding the Storm.
Air. Hey. Give me Storm Air.
So The Line of Descent,
Yes.
A movie that came out in the year 2019.
Year of Our Lord.
The Year of Our Lord.
Year of Our Lord 2019.
Is directed by and I apologize if I butcher the name, but Rohit Karn Batra.
Yes.
Written and produced by the same fellow. Cinematographer John Stokes. Do we know John Stokes from anywhere?
Do we know John Stokes?
I don't know. I don't know. Sounds like an American name, and so my first thought is
have you seen the 2006 John Cena motion picture, The Marine?
Yes.
would you believe me if I said yes?
Then yes, he was the DP for that.
Well, that kind of makes sense. It's kind of a nothing movie.
I have not seen The Marine.
Let me save you the time.
Not worth it.
Not
I think
worth
it's like
it.
a WWE partnership movie.
It
Well, it
kinda
most certainly is.
Yeah. Oh, he did a TV movie in 1999 called Alien Cargo.
Sounds good. I'd watch that.
Um,
Yes, this movie is directed by Rohit Karn Batra, who is a Indian filmmaker. He's mostly a producer. He's produced a lot of small films and television programs in India. He has directed a few movies, most of them smaller projects.
I see on his IMDb he's got 2 short films, 1 episode of a TV series, and then this movie.
2 short films. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
here.
and then in production, which is very trustworthy on IMDb, he's got 1 in production and 1 in development right now.
As does everybody on.
So
I have 7 movies in production on IMDb.
Well, yeah, same here. I have a lot myself.
I'm gonna start putting fake things on my IMDb and be in production, Terminator 7, something like that.
Yeah.
See if people fall for it.
Deadpool 3.5.
I'm making Deadpool 3 simultaneous with them making Deadpool 3. Or making Deadpool 4 simultaneous.
But yeah, this was distributed in. This was made in India.
Yes.
It's
one of those movies where it's kind of hard to come by information about it.
It's got a Wikipedia page. But yeah.
Yes. So, Batra. He designed this movie in like the style of American crime movies.
Yeah.
Was his idea, and it very much shows. But he tried to, his exact words were to see this as an international film. The visual energy of India is very different, so I thought, why not use that? Filmmaking sometimes ends up being very local for a country the film was made for, but at the same time, we're in a very global world. So I think film should reflect this more. Just saying how this movie is set in India, but it's attempting to be a like international movie.
A global story,
Yes. Unfortunately, that global story is not very good.
Yeah, or it's very overdone with not a lot of nuance to it.
Yeah, because the basic idea here is this is like trying to be The Godfather-ish.
It even has like the beginning intro of like a birthday party.
Yeah.
That's not a wedding, but it's like a daughter's birthday party.
Yeah.
And the Godfather gets approached by dudes about whacking a dude.
Yeah.
It's like, you come to me on the day of my daughter's birthday party.
Shit, yeah, that is how that starts.
Yeah, it really does have that like same intro. The Godfather dies in this movie, and then there's a struggle for power.
Yeah.
And then it ends up with
Several brothers get whacked.
Several brothers getting whacked with the only,
And then inexplicably Brendan Fraser's there.
Oh, yeah. Fraser's in this movie. Hence why you're listening to The Fraser's Edge and why we're covering this movie.
Yes.
Welcome.
I'm so curious about him getting involved in this movie.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Doesn't it seems like 2019, 2020, he does a lot of like weird, almost international films, right? Because it seems like he just pops up in these random.
Because he after The Nut Job, acclaimed Oscar winner, he doesn't work in a movie for 5 years. He does TV shows like Texas Rising and Doom Patrol, which kind of like rebuilds his stock as like people like who watch this shows like, oh look, it's Brendan Fraser. Mm-hmm. So he like slowly rebuilds his stock from the negatives back to kind of a net zero neutral. And then in 2019 he gets back into movies. This starts with The Poison Rose, which we talked about last week, where he's kind of like giving a fun little, character actor supporting performance, which is generally the mode I like him in best. That movie wasn't very good, but I like Brendan at this stage in his career in like a character actor role. So I'm very excited for Killers of the Flower Moon because he's just like gonna be like one of the guys.
Yeah, I think from what I remember what I was talking about is seeing that movie. It's not a good movie. It's not even that great of a performance, but at least it's something interesting.
Yeah, which Travolta's not giving in the movie.
No, Travolta's lion's mane. Is it weird, like last week when we talked about Poison Rose, it felt like we were like talking about a new boyfriend of ours, but there's an ex-boyfriend in the picture that we have to keep trying to talk, talk about.
That's exactly the vibe that I got.
It's very much, then Travolta does this.
Yeah.
Anything else? No, I don't care.
But like,
I don't talk about him anymore.
Don't talk about him anymore.
A movie that just came out that we just saw, Oppenheimer, is like almost every actor in that movie is like my favorite type of performance in a movie, which is like they come in, they are in the background for half the movie, then they have one really good scene, and you're like, fuck yeah, Rami Malek's in this movie. And then he's like not in the rest of the movie. That's my favorite type of performance where you're like in the background, you're like, why did they get this guy to just stand there? And you're like, then they have one great scene, and you're like, all right, here we go. That's why you got him.
Yeah.
That's the kind of mode I like Brendan in best, which he gets in The Poison Rose in a smaller extent.
Yeah.
And he got in some of like the early, like the bad 2013 movies. Like, God, what are those?
Well, I think one thing we do have to say that kind of carries into this movie, and it'll carry into our conversation next week, is, and we've talked about the key differences with Fraser and Travolta, is Fraser's learning his lesson to take a step back, not be the leading man, be like start off like small as like a supporting role. So when the movie flops, it's not all eyes on him as being like, the cause of it, but it's at least his way to like kind of get back into the swing of things a little bit.
Get back in the swing of things.
Yeah. What's the point of all those?
Takes a minute to get back in the swing of things.
What's the point of all those damn push-ups if you can't lift
lift
a
a bloody
bloody log?
But no, he,
With no survivors.
We're back.
Oh, you merely adopted the dog.
I do-
was born in it.
I do want to tell
Molded by it.
I do want to tell the audience like a little bit of like some like real life context that. So Jeff and I have been recording a lot of our episodes like months in advance now. So when us talking about Oppenheimer, this episode's going to come out in like what, September?
this episode's coming out September 22nd.
So you'll have seen this movie like 2 months ago.
Yes.
But that being said, it is just very interesting, like having to, when we think about talking about where, because this is like not long ago. This is 2019.
Yeah.
This is only 4 years ago. And in less than like 4 years from this movie, he's going to win an Oscar for The Whale.
Yeah.
Just the craziest.
Just kind of blows my mind a little bit that we're very close on that. Like,
It's a stratospheric comeback.
yeah.
Like, because he, I won't talk about like what's coming up, but he, gets back into movies with shit like this. And then suddenly he's in like Auteur, a canceled Batgirl movie. Oh, wait, no, not, yeah, we'll talk about it. But like he's in like suddenly all these auteurist classics.
Yeah. I hope that his like rise to stardom and fame isn't like built on too shaky of a foundation.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I worry about. Because really, like, again, he's got like some like pretty good successes and things that has like bounced him back up outside of The Whale. But when you talk about the general audience of what people are knowing his comeback for, it's just The Whale.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That in the way of like, if you just pick somebody from the street, it's like, what's Fraser's comeback movie? The Whale.
Yeah.
They're not going to mention
No
like
sudden moves.
No Sudden Move or that's it.
No sudden move. Or
That's really it because
no
the rest are
sudden
TV
move.
shows.
And like I'm kind of, my hope is that he won Best Actor for The Whale.
Yeah.
And I hope he gets like good, leading roles.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to see him stick in that No Sudden Move, Killers of the Flower Moon world,
Yeah.
which we haven't talked about those movies, and I haven't seen those movies.
Right.
But where he's just like,
a great side character. is
yeah,
what
he's
you
an
want.
incredible side character who pops in and is always dependable and a steady hand.
The William H. Macy of the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like he has a
Yeah.
exactly.
William.
Popping up in Jurassic Park 3 is Mr. Kirby.
Yeah.
Doesn't get eaten by a dinosaur. I was about to say he did, but he didn't. He's in this movie, which is the weird thing.
Yeah.
Because this movie's filmed in India.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't find like exactly why he was in this movie.
So Brendan, if you're listening, feel free to tell us.
Yeah, like I'm not like I'm assuming that the script gets written and that there is an American character in it.
Yeah. Well, Justin and I were talking about this off mic in terms because, when we talk about in this movie and also when we talk about it next week for Secret of Karma is these aren't roles that he shows up for like one day in a room.
Mm-hmm.
He's got costume changes.
Yeah.
He's in different sets. He's in different locations. He's in like not like a lot of the screen time, but like he at least had to give up a week of his time.
He apparently worked on this for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
And so the vibe I basically get is like his stock's still pretty low at this point.
Yeah.
But he wants to get back into movies. Hollywood doesn't really want him.
Mm-hmm.
And so to kind of like get his first, foot in the door, it's this, Indian movie where they want an American character and they want the movie to have international appeal.
Yeah.
And so you need an American star if you want you shouldn't need an American star, but the common film industry thing is like you need an American star if you want international appeal.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, we can get Brendan Fraser for this.
He's cheap.
He's cheap and
He was in The Mummy.
people liked him.
Yeah.
So you can get him and put him in. And he was apparently very excited to work on this movie. He, the Batra said he had a lot of respect for the actors and that he had watched some of the movies that they were in, so he's familiar with them.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a nice guy, Fraser. It's no surprise hearing stuff like that about him.
So, he came in and he did 2 weeks on this movie.
Yeah.
And,
That kind of tracks.
yeah. And, it did give him a movie after 5 years.
You gave him a movie.
Yeah, give him a movie.
He worked.
Yes.
And we'll talk about The Secret of Karma next week. But I'm assuming that's a very similar idea.
You can't keep it in, can you?
He's switching it up.
He's like, we'll talk about Secret Kermit.
That's not The Secret of Kermit.
The Secret of Kermit.
I'm going to get out there.
Oh, you gotta
explore the universe.
explore your lives.
The universe.
Oh,
Yep.
yes.
But the thing about The Secret of Karma, there's literally no information about it online. It's a non-existent movie.
I think it's just a shared pipe dream.
We all just start experiencing it.
I think it's kind of like The Ring, where it's you find like a videotape in like a closet, you put it in, and it turns out like it's gonna kill you in 7 days. I really think my life's in danger after
I think
watching
we're
this
both
movie.
all gonna die.
I think we're both like on the verge because like Yeah. We'll get into like how much this movie cost and made at the end, Jeff.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other thing to talk about.
Do we want to try and parse through this plot?
You want to what?
Try and like go through this plot.
Sure.
Because I don't know how much this can sustain, like going through the plot.
Mm-hmm.
There's really not much plot, is there?
Well, I would say watch like the first 2 acts of The Godfather, and then you're nearly there.
Essentially, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Change the language to Hindi, and you're
We do have to
basically
give
there.
so much respect to Wikipedia, because there is a truly extensive synopsis of this movie on Wikipedia.
Thank you, Wikipedia,
Thank you,
and
Wiki.
the person who wrote it all
I'm
down.
trying to figure out. I'm going to look up who the editor of the. There's maybe so many editors. Why the fuck are people editing this movie in 2023? There's like 8 edits on this in this year.
oh, on the page?
Justin, what's your story about coming on with us today to talk about this movie?
What's my story about this?
Yeah, you picked this.
You know, so the last time I was here, we were talking about Hairbrained, and
An excellent movie.
it's an excellent movie.
One of the
Worst
best.
movie we've ever.
And
It should have won an Oscar.
exactly,
Yeah.
you know,
You and I get it.
we understand.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like looking at your guys' list. You know, all the big ones were always taken, which hurts me because that I've only seen the big ones. So for me was like, oh, I've never seen that. Why not? You know, fuck it. Let's find this. Let me watch The Line of Descent and see if it's a good movie. Like if it's a hidden, because that's what like Blast of the Past was.
Yeah.
Was I was scrolling through Hulu, found it, and I was like, oh, Brendan Fraser's in this? I've never seen. Fuck it, we'll watch this, and it's a great movie.
Yeah.
So I was hoping that this is what the continuation would be, to find like these little B movies that may be bad, but like haha bad.
And now you're 1 for 2.
And now I'm 1 for 2.
Soon to be 1 for 3, probably.
Oh my god.
It's Line of Descent's a movie that got made.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
and respect to the people that put their effort in.
They brought cameras to a place. They put people in front of those cameras, and they hit the record button.
I don't think Brendan in this movie did a bad job. I wouldn't say he did a great job.
His character's strange.
I don't know what's with his voice.
Yeah.
He's like shaky. He's like, and then we are gonna go buy weapons of mass destruction.
His voice is weird.
It was very tweaky.
He has like all these like bits to his character that never get elaborated upon, and at one point it just like becomes too much.
Yeah.
Because you're like, okay, so he's an Alaskan arms dealer who moved to America
Yeah.
at a second track,
Uh-huh.
or moved to India.
Uh-huh.
He now goes by Charu instead of Charlie.
Okay.
He has a shaky voice.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the club at night and dresses with eyeliner and a wig and like
Yeah.
skin tight
Partying, baby.
Oh,
clothes.
yeah.
Like if any of these things were elaborated upon, like there's a character there. But it's one of my least favorite things when movies like add so many bits to a character without any of them either being explained or having like a reason to exist.
Yeah, because he's just wacky to be, I guess, wacky.
Yeah. Like when you watch an Al Pacino performance, he has a lot of like bits to his characters, but they all either like exacerbate something that's already on the page or they have a story reason. Like when Al Pacino starts like, oh yeah, baby, ho-ho-da. When he starts doing that, it's usually because the character is either A, on cocaine, or B, it's like just his overly masculine energy, like trying to hide like how scared he is in the scene. And this, like, I'm like, Brendan, what are you doing? You do like 7 things.
You know, I like to think that this movie is a continuation after The Air I Breathe. So after Brendan escapes fingers,
Yes.
he becomes an arms dealer.
Wait, he
So-
doesn't die at the end of the year, I breathe?
Fake out.
It's a fake out. That's how they get you. He pretends to die, moves to India to change his name,
Questioning my entire
and to follow his mentor, Fingers, he becomes Arms.
Fingers.
Whoa. It was just crazy because, like, when we covered the Nut Job, there was, like, a Fingers prequel in there as well.
I feel like all roads in Brendan Fraser's acting career leads back to Fingers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What movie did we watch last week with Fingers? It was
Nut Job.
The Nut Job. The Nut Job has a character named Fingers on it.
Who's a gangster.
Who is a gangster.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
All roads lead back to
A
fingers.
younger gangster in the 1950s. You do the math.
Hey!
Hey!
B.
Beep-a-da-ba-ba-da.
Mamma mia.
We're
You
not
know-
here to offend Italians. We're here to offend,
Everyone else.
yeah.
To quote my partner, Savannah, she said, this movie was like Knives Out, but not funny at all.
Yeah.
I do declare, particular tangle web. Oh, fiddlesticks.
It's just like, I don't understand. Because it's, they show Brendan in these parts where it's like, do something. Just whatever you want to do this. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
cool. So drugs, guns. And then we're off with a brother. And this brother is a piece of shit. And then we're off with another brother. And this brother's like, I'm trying to bring the family together.
That's what Knives Out 3 should be. It should be Benoit Blanc has to solve his greatest mystery of all. What the fuck happened with Line of Descent?
Goes to India, the same character.
He's like interviewing the cast and crew. He's like, "Oh, so tell me, how did this script come about?"
Yeah, that would be
Benoit
interesting.
Blanc.
So the movie starts at a daughter's birthday party.
Yes,
And that's it.
that's
Yeah.
that's the movie.
That's pretty much the movie.
It all leads back.
There's like there's like the father, who is like
Yeah.
the father, and-
Bharat.
Bharat, and he gets, I don't know.
It's the Sinha family,
Yeah.
and the Sinha crime family.
Yeah.
So both families, two families, two crimes.
Two families, one crime. One crime,
Yeah, one,
two families.
yeah.
2 for 1 and 1
2 for 1 deal.
1 for 2.
But the family members are there's Prithvi, who's like the
oldest.
He's
yeah.
he's the eldest boy.
The good boy.
Uh,
He doesn't look like the oldest. He looks like he should be.
The other guy looks like shit.
The
Well-
fucking, the bad
Siddharth.
one?
Yeah.
Siddharth?
Siddharth looks like he should be the oldest.
Yeah. Prithvi is like the heir apparent to the empire.
Yeah.
And then there's
Siddharth,
Siddharth, who's the middle brother.
who is the chaotic evil.
Yeah, who desires control of the family.
He's Scar in Lion King.
Yes.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah, actually, yeah.
And then there's Siraj, who's the youngest brother,
The fuck
born
up.
of a different mother.
Yeah. He's the Jon Snow.
Yeah, he's like kind of like the fuck up who the older ones are like, you gotta get your shit together, man. Kind of kid.
I'm just a boy.
And then Siddharth is like, you're not a part of this family because you have a different mom. Fuck you.
Fuck up. So, what happens after that?
So Grandpappy dies.
Oh god, you're just skipping right to
Just skipping right to that.
it. I mean, all that happens is we're introduced to the criminal family.
Essentially, it's just a long game. It's just a
Yeah.
long game of being like, here's what's going on. Here's some issue. Because I don't remember a lot with the Godfather. Like, I don't remember
Yeah.
a lot with him doing anything.
He's like kind of talking how he wants to get the family out of crime, which is the thing to do.
Everybody in crime families always wants to get
wants
out
to
of
get out of
crime.
crime. He wants to go completely legit with their electronics division. It's very funny that this like crime family has an electronics division.
That's how they launder money.
Yeah, no, I know that's how they do it, but like it's
It is
always
kinda
funny.
funny.
It's like in The Godfather, they have like an olive oil business.
Yeah.
I just like that in this. It's like no, we sell TVs. And they desire, yeah.
There's a scene in the nightclub where the youngest brother brings his girlfriend and he gets like beat up by some guys.
Yeah.
And then his brother comes back and beats those guys up.
Yeah.
Those guys said the weirdest lines that
Like,
beat the brother up. One
"Hi,
of them was
little lady."
literally, do you know what kind of noise your ass makes when you get punched in the gut?
Wow.
That was the
Could that
word
be a
he said.
it
translation
farts.
thing?
That's what it does.
I mean,
Like-
it could be. It could be a translation thing, but at least the subtitles said.
Yeah.
Because I watched it in like the original.
Nobody who was making the subtitles questioned that.
Nobody.
translation.
No, they're just like, this works.
Hey, Bob, is this correct?
Ah,
Do
sure.
you know what sound your ass makes when you get punched? Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, like when they see him, they're like, "Who's that gay-looking banana next to her?"
Yeah.
they do say that.
That's their word. Well, that's
Yeah.
the translation or whatever. But like, because he said that, I'm like, wait, what? I had to rewind it 3 times to make sure I read it right.
Yeah. And then after he gets beat up, there's no explanation of what happened to the girlfriend.
Just gone.
Just gone.
Poof.
Yeah. She comes back, and boy, does she come back. But then There's a scene shortly after where like the oldest brother, Prithvi,
Yeah.
and Siraj. So he's trying to like show him the ropes, and they
Yeah.
try to like shake down a guy.
Because they want to
steal his house.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Siraj accidentally shoots the man, turns into this whole kerfuffle. It's like, oh, zoinks! Shit, you fuck up.
Was it? I thought it was the youngest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It was the oldest and the youngest are together, and it's the youngest who accidentally shoots the.
My favorite is the oldest is like the gun's not loaded. Just
Yeah,
point
he
it
says
at
like
him.
the gun's not loaded, but don't make us load it. And then he shoots him.
And they have to take the guy to the hospital, and the next scene is them at the hospital.
I just love that, you're getting threatened, right? You're getting threatened by this guy to be like, you need to sign your house over. We don't want to cause any problems. This little kid points the gun at you, and you're like, I'm not. No. And then he gets shot, and then this very terrifying man's like, oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm sorry. This was a bit. This went too far.
It
Too
went
far.
really too far.
It seems like their racket is basically that they extort people out of their homes and
Yeah.
then sell the houses
Yeah.
for profit. That's like their racket.
Yeah, just a good racket.
It's a fun racket.
Yeah, just make people be homeless.
But then so Bharat basically finds out that the cops are closing in on him,
Yeah,
and that the only way for him to get out of this is to leave the country. And he decides, what if I do you one up and leave this planet?
and he kills himself.
And he does kill himself.
Yeah,
This like scene, he's like, I'm sorry, whatever your name is, and then shoots himself.
yeah. So then it's
The Godfather's dead.
The Godfather's dead. Don Corleone has been shot.
Yeah.
Intermission. I love
See,
that
I'm-
you don't break eye contact with me. You're just like,
See, did you notice that we all started with the graduation theme song? The do-do-do-do-do. That's graduating to.
I was just doing the...
See, if I look up the score to The Godfather, I don't think you're anywhere close to what it actually is.
uh-oh.
Is it really what it is?
I've seen The Godfather one time,
Same.
and it was in a film class, and it was at 8 p.m. at night, so I can't.
I mean, you got like some of the transitions there. I'd say the key signature is a little off, but yeah. No, I give it to you, Jeff. You remembered it right. You remembered it right.
Let's go let this play for the rest of the episode.
Great. We'll get a copyright strike.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So one of the no. Yeah.
He's got up to 30 seconds.
No.
Fair use copyright.
So it doesn't. No.
30 seconds. Sub 30 seconds.
It doesn't. No. Okay. So anyway, yeah. That's when we get introduced to the other character, which is Officer Raghav.
Yeah.
Who is like he's like the main investigator
Yeah.
for the Cinecrime family.
Don't they bring him in?
Yeah, they bring him in from Britain.
Or
No,
some
he's
shit?
brought in from somewhere else, and then there's also a guy who was brought in from Britain
Yeah.
to like run the
Oh,
undercover
right.
department.
Oh right. And yeah,
Deputy Commissioner Daniel Bites.
We've been trying to get this family for a long time.
real estate pirating. Ooh, that sounds cool. That's much better than just like shaking them down for their houses.
Real estate pirating?
Real estate pirating.
Hell yes.
Yes.
What if I became like a real estate pirate?
I would
Sign over your deed to my house.
Yarr!
I rent it.
Where's the landlord?
He lives in Skokie.
You're brandishing scabbards and rapiers.
puts him at knife point. You tell her the air conditioning is out, and we will wait here for her.
Bring the man back to me by midnight. Make sure no one follows you.
10 souls.
What
Barman's?
How much did you pay in a security deposit?
It's like, well, I can't give it to you for free, but maybe I can negotiate for a lower rent.
All right.
Well, he's paying $2,200, so I can do like 21.
2,200.
I want 19.
I can do 2050. 2025. I think we got to do a deal. All right. So you'll send the paperwork to my ship. And
Do you guys use pigeons, or are you guys like a crow foundation? The scene's...
Do you need a cosigner? Yeah. Like if your income's not that great, you should probably get a cosigner. Do you know somebody? Well, my lawyer from a while ago. I'm just gonna get this
next scene's kind of inexplicable.
Your credit check came back. It's not good.
Because Bharat is dead.
Just gone.
And the cops are like looking, and like you expect that they're basically going to go over who the three brothers are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Instead, they spend like 5 minutes telling Bharat's entire life story. The man who is now dead.
Yeah.
We're not going to care about
and
it all.
like basically nothing from his like life comes back. Like it's not like it's like he had a wife and he owned a restaurant, and then he had a brother named Prithvi, and then Prithvi got sick or suffered some severe injury. And to pay for his medical bills, he had to sell his restaurant to the mob, but then he never got the money, and so he turned into a mobster. His brother died. He had 2 kids, and then his wife died.
In a fire.
She lit herself on fire.
Because she couldn't deal with how evil he had become.
Yes, that was exactly. And I just like...
Don't you hate it when that happens?
Why do we need all this information?
When you become so evil, your wife sets herself on
Well,
fire.
it's just interesting to me that you got scammed doing the same thing you do now, and you're like, this one? That's for my brother right there.
Yeah.
And it's like if you'd watch The Godfather, and when Don Corleone dies, like 2/3 of the way through the movie, it suddenly just spent 5 minutes recapping the plot of The Godfather 2.
I thought you were about to say recapping like his entire life. I'm like, that is a movie. It's The Godfather 2.
But I'm saying, like, if like right after he dies, the movie halts in its tracks. A cop we've never met before appears, and it's just like, all right, here's the story, and you suddenly see all the De Niro scenes from Godfather 2.
Right, because doesn't the cop that they brought in tell like the youngest like this whole story or what? I forgot how.
The British cop commissioner tells the new
cop.
guy. And like after we get this like unnecessary backstory for Bharat, then he's like, oh yeah, there are 3 brothers. Prithvi is probably going to take over the family. He's pretty reasonable. Siddharth's kind of crazy. We don't like him. Siraj doesn't really have anything to do with this.
Siraj.
And I'm like, okay. We could have just said that. Like, like we didn't need the backstory of the crime family.
Right.
Because this movie is an hour and 47 minutes. It's not sustainable for...
Essentially, it was like, well, I know why the family's bad. They're mobs.
Yeah, the mobs.
You don't need to tell me. I don't need... the guy's Social Security to figure out why he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, it's very...
Bless you.
Thank you.
But the twist, though, is at this point, Prithvi is actually like, I don't want to take over the business.
Yeah.
I just want to run my electronics.
Destroy it.
I want to run the electronics store and sell my TVs.
Yeah, because isn't it like right after their godfather like passes, he sits everybody down and he's like, I'm keeping everything, because they do the will reading, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, it all goes to Prithvi.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, cool. We're done.
Yeah.
We're done being bad.
Yeah.
TVs,
fridges,
VCRs, fridges. That's our life.
That's
now.
the new gold rush, folks. 10-year outdated TVs. It's going to be great.
Baba Booey.
But then, of course, Sid is like, fuck this. I want to be bad.
I want to sell guns.
I want to sell guns and kill people.
Yeah, he wants to get into arms dealing, and he has like a mistress who's like kind of persuading him to do this.
Yeah.
This like French woman who he sleeps with, who's like, you need to take over the industry, start selling the guns
And kill your brothers.
She's like, huh, what if you like
She's also
killed
like,
your brother?
you need to- Oh, it could be great. We could make a lot of money. You have to kill your brothers, though.
Can I read the next line direct from the Wikipedia?
Yeah.
Because I would like to describe how this happens, and you guys can note why
I know what you're about to read.
So, basically, Sid sets up like a fake robbery at their electronics store.
Which, first off, Sid sucks at parking.
Yeah, he literally
He does.
He always parks like in the middle of everything,
Diagonal.
just diagonal.
And so Sid sets up a robbery at the store to provoke Prithvi, and when Prithvi investigates, Sid kills him. However, Prithvi survives.
Fantastic.
That is right off the Wikipedia. Like, he kills him. However, he survives. Like, that's not you
Through
right.
robot technology, Prithvi comes back.
Like, you can't kill someone and they survive it.
And then you would think the movie would pivot to, okay, so Prithvi's going to get revenge on his brother for the attempt on his life. Nope.
No, Prithvi just stays in like the bed for like 30 minutes, and then he gets out of bed and gets killed
He
again.
gets shot again,
Well,
but this time he dies.
Well, like that's the thing, right? So the robbery happens and then they split up,
yeah.
right? And then Prithvi gets capped, and then Siddharth's just like,
Now the business is mine.
The business is mine.
You make it out just snow.
Siddharth will never sell the
snowman.
TV again.
And Siraj, at that point, he's like fearful for his life. So that's when he goes and seeks help from another arms dealer, played by Brendan Fraser, who is
We think he's an arms dealer.
we think he's an arms dealer. But so as of what we know in the movie, I mean, it kind of gives it away very early on. He's an undercover cop.
Yeah.
But this Brendan Fraser plays like an American undercover cop posing as like an arms dealer. Siraj goes to him for help. He's like, listen, like if you want my help, you're gonna need to sign over some of like the business or whatever. So they come to like a sort of an arrangement. But then at that point, this is my favorite scene. Siraj is back with his girlfriend, who we haven't seen since like that first nightclub scene.
because he got the shit kicked out of him.
Right. So they're sitting in the car, they're talking, and Siraj is like, I'm going to work with this guy. I'm going to try to like get rid of Sid or whatever. And I might go to the police or however it turns out.
Yeah.
And his girlfriend's like, yeah, I think that works for you. Gets out of the car, brains get blown out.
Yes.
She
Right.
gets shot by a sniper, which was aimed for Siraj,
Yeah.
but killed his girlfriend.
Yes.
And so Sid at this point thinks that Siraj is dead.
Yes.
And so he's just continuing doing his own thing.
Yeah.
Um,
However, Siraj survives.
Not
Siraj,
getting shot.
this
Somehow,
guy is terrible at killing brothers.
somehow Siraj returned.
Somehow.
Siddharth kills Siraj, and Siraj survives.
And then the next thing that it says is, Sid ambushes Prithvi and finally kills him.
Which is exactly what happens. Is like Prithvi finally gets out of bed. Like he's been crippled for a while. He gets out of bed, is walking with a cane.
Don't they go back?
They
Doesn't
go
he
back to the convenience
to the
store.
store?
But Prithvi is wise to Siddharth, and he gets a gun and hides it in his pants. And then he goes to the store and he's getting ready to like if Siddharth's gonna pull some shit. And Siddharth does pull some. He pulls the lights on. His French mistress there with a shotgun.
Boom.
and his mistress is the one who really takes the bullets on him.
Yeah, and shoots.
And then Sid just like
Prithvi.
shoots him while he's down.
Yeah.
So yeah, Prithvi's actually dead now.
Yeah. It's funny how,
Maybe.
like
Until
he's supposed to be set up as like the Michael Corleone in this.
Yeah.
He basically has like one scene and then he's in a bed and then he gets shot.
Basically, it's
this
like when
movie's-
Michael Corleone had to go to Italy, only
Yeah.
he never came back.
Yeah. But this movie is secretly about like Siraj as the lead character.
How?
Like that's what it kind of turns into.
The young buck that gets away, you know?
And so the cops, now that Siddharth owns the business,
And this is when Siraj gets approached by the officer Raghav. Yeah, Raghav. And he's like, "Listen, like you've been talking to an undercover cop, and like we're gonna put you in jail unless you help us to like we're gonna wire you, and you're gonna go and talk to Sid and make him talk about all the shit he's done." So then they make an arrangement. They go to dinner. And he does this fucking nasty parking job in the middle of the goddamn street
Dude,
again.
you know, because
in
like,
an SUV of all things.
which like the first time I got it, because like, you know, someone broke in, we don't care about parking.
Right.
But then he pulls up and parks like that, and I'm like, oh, maybe there, and I look down the street, and there are two cars just like parked in front of each other, like regular street parking. And I'm like, you're just an asshole.
he's just an asshole.
They were like, I want him to be a villain so badly. He's not even going to park correctly.
They just missed out on like the mustache twirliness. That was
Yeah.
all that was missing from this guy. So they go to dinner and they start talking, and Sid just starts giving him all of it. He's like, "You think I wanted to kill all of those innocent people and burn their houses?"
like, I think you did. Just opens it all up. You're
Yeah. And then the cops come in, and then there's a shootout, and then Sid dies. Shirag goes to prison, and then we fade to interrogation room. Officer Raghav is sitting there. They bring Siraj in, who's been in jail. He says, "Hi. So yeah, your brothers are dead, and you're in jail for life. But my wife and I, we can't have kids. We're infertile. Remember that daughter from early in the movie?
Siddharth's daughter.
It's not Siddharth's.
It's his sister actually.
No, isn't it?
I
Siddharth's?
thought the whole it was Siddharth's in the beginning, but I thought the whole thing was that it was like Prithvi's actual daughter.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
They
yes.
thought it was
That's
Siddharth's daughter, but
Twist,
it's Prithvi's
because
daughter.
Prithvi's
Yes.
having an affair with Siddharth's
Wife.
wife
Yeah.
that he doesn't care about because he's
he has a
fucking
me-
the French girl.
Yes.
Who is like she's like royalty.
Oh yeah. She's the daughter of the
They just
French
dropped
ambassador
it.
to India.
They were just like blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, she's like the daughter of the
And
ambassador.
what happens here is Officer Raghav lays out the entire plot of the movie, lays out the whole like conspiracy, and it is utterly incomprehensible.
Yeah.
He's like, so I was brought in to investigate this family, and so Bharat, after he died, Prithvi set all these fail-safes up, and he made a deal with Charlie, Brendan Fraser, to protect you
Which is
by
why
having him attempt to bring you into the scheme, but thereby protecting you from Siddharth, who is also working with Charlie to bring you into the
For a
scheme,
whole new
but also
scheme.
to shoot you. The Prithvi had set up someone else, so the mistress gets killed. It's like, wait, what is going
everybody
on?
essentially was like in the office
Yeah.
just pointing a gun at each
Yeah.
other, and
Yeah.
they're just like,
So essentially, what Officer Raghav says is like, so you should be thanking me.
He's like,
you're welcome. Give me your sister.
he's like, basically every single character in this movie was either an undercover cop or an undercover mobster. So the reveal at the end.
Which I was so confused by everything that happened. I didn't know Brendan was an undercover cop.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just comes out of nowhere.
Well, like, I didn't know about it till you guys said he's an undercover cop.
Yeah.
I just thought he was just like a weird, goofy arms dealer. I was like, I'm gonna turn a new leaf.
We haven't talked about Fraser's role in this movie.
Yes.
So like, again, he plays like as this undercover cop, as like an arms dealer. But this arms dealer guy, like he's like got like all these tattoos. He's always sweaty.
Yes.
He's very sweaty, and he's got like the shaky voice.
He's
What do you
like
talk-
shaky.
very tweaky.
Yeah.
He owns it's like a motor automotive shop,
store.
which when they come to talk to him, just a side note, when they come to talk to him like the third or fourth time, he's just working on a motorcycle in his office. It's on his desk
Right.
because they were talking and they come in and he's like, oh, what are you
Nice
doing?
to seeing you
and I'm
here.
just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Don't you frequently work on motorcycles in your office? I know I sure do.
I just put it on my desk and I'm like, yeah, this is a good place
Have
to.
you guys noticed that there, in a lot of movies, when the main character has to go like consult with like an arms dealer, it's usually the front is a mechanic shop.
Yeah.
Sons of
That's how it
Anarchy.
always is.
Yeah.
I've just realized that. Like, what was it like the Crash?
Yeah.
When they're selling cars and stuff, and like I know it's not an
Yeah.
arms dealer, but it's still like an undercover like crime ring, and it's a mechanic shop.
I feel like it's an inherently kind of easy place to hide things like that and explain things.
Mission Impossible Fallout, or not Fallout,
'Cause
Rogue
you-
Nation.
Yeah, because you could like cover up like a
can hide
shipment
a lot
of
of
weapons
hardware
as
and
a
shit
as
there,
a
too.
as a like a shipment of tailpipes or
It's just something that's always been
Yeah.
fascinating. If ever like you watch a movie audience and they have to go consult with like they're like a underground arms dealer. See where the setting takes place. It's usually a mechanic shop.
Mm.
So at any rate, but yeah, he ends the whole story being like, yeah, and all that being said, you have that younger girl, and we don't have a younger girl, and we would like that younger girl. So can we adopt, please?
Which is like the weirdest thing, because this cop that you've been kind of working with that you don't fully trust is
kind of
just like,
backstabbed you.
kind of like, yeah, your family's dead, which that sucks. You're in prison for like the rest of your life. Your sister, she's, cuckoo, but your youngest sister, she needs a dad and a mom,
She needs a dad,
and we don't have kids.
and I could be a dad.
And then it ends.
And then it ends.
It's just like
He doesn't ever give an answer. They don't wait. They don't let him like nod or anything. He just like stares blankly, and then it fades to black.
I think they're saving up for a line of ascent, which is going to
Line
be
of
the daughter.
ascent.
So it's going to be the daughter growing up and being like, I want to do crime.
Because we just saw the line of descent.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're gonna see the line of ascent.
And she's actually going to be a mechanic.
Invisible Man Studios. Call Justin Campbell right now.
I'll write it.
He's got a script.
I've already got it.
Yeah, we'll bring Fraser back. He's an Oscar winner now.
Yeah. The Fraser's return.
How much did this movie cost to make, Jeff?
So this movie's made for about $5 million.
Okay, so like for it to even like break even, probably had to make like $7, right?
Yeah, this thing is it's released simultaneously in theaters and video on demand in the U.S. in 2019 and India, and then does not get released in theaters in a major way until it's released in the United Arab Emirates in 2021. By theatrical release in the U.S., it's like one theater.
So how much money does it make?
It makes $3,599
On a $5 million budget.
Yes.
Oh
at the box office.
my God. And they're letting him make another movie?
Now, I can predict that this is predominantly released on video on demand, and like it's probably just like the gross from like one theater. But still, it's very funny to look at.
I mean, I can tell you it's on YouTube for free.
Yes.
Yeah. I made a short film, and I put it into some film festivals. And a couple of those film festivals, there was like a prize for like winning the film festival.
Mm-hmm.
I made about a little over half of what this movie made.
And you didn't have Brendan Fraser.
And I didn't have Brendan Fraser in my movie.
Can we... My favorite scene in this movie with Brendan Fraser is when he's sitting talking to the kid in the nightclub, and he's like, so, here's what's going to happen. You could get hurt. You could die. And that's not going to affect me. Because that's the kind of motherfucker I am. And he does like that little smile. And he goes, but.
Yes. That smile is so good.
That's why when you were like, are we still good for 10? And I just sent the screen.
Yeah.
Like if we could show it to you audiences, I hope that Jeff, we gotta tell Becca that's gotta be the screen cap that we use for the
it's gotta be that
has to be.
exact image.
Yeah, it should be the thumbnail for this episode. Go look at it.
Oh, you have it. It's in the group chat. Just use that one.
Yeah.
It's such a good picture of him.
It like it's he kind of comes out of this movie.
It's such a weird fucking grin.
I want to make that my wallpaper just because, like, if I'm ever feeling down, you just look at that and he's like,
I want to Photoshop. I want to Photoshop. Like this frame, so like you can't see below like his like sternum, right?
mm-hmm.
Photoshop all of his clothes off. Photoshop in the background a bathroom.
Taking a shit.
Taking a shit.
Taking a shit naked.
I will, however.
He's taking a naked shit.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like that tweet that I saw where it was like I saw a tweet. This is maybe not the content that the audience is looking for, but there's this tweet where it's like Jack Nicholson voice. It was the type of diarrhea you had to get naked for.
Sometimes you have those morning shits where you got to just declothe.
You gotta declothe and just be in your raw tribal form.
Dude, I have to wear the same thing I came into this world with because it's me versus God at that point.
Oh my god. Speaking of total dumpster fires, this movie, didn't make any money.
Jeez, that's a damn, dude. Usually you hear like, oh, it failed. They made like, $1 million.
Yeah.
$3,000?
$3,000. That like,
It's so funny.
what can you spend $3,000 on?
Now?
Yeah, now.
A nice TV.
A nice
That's about
TV.
it. You can get like a nice TV
To watch Line of
from
Descent.
from Cine Electronics.
Oh my god.
What if like this was just a way for him to promote his TV business?
Oh my god.
He's like, guys, we're gonna film at my shop. It's fine. It's gonna work. Like the
Wow.
movie didn't do well, but the sales and TVs
skyrocket.
They made over $3 million.
Yeah. Is this the TV show stand shop from the movie Line of Descent? Why, yes it is.
And we
We're
should go
not-
find Cine Electronics. We should take a pilgrimage.
do another like Maggie's Diner road
Yeah.
trip. Only this takes us to India.
Mumbai.
Cine Electronics. We're not a crime family.
This is the little sign anything like the cursive font.
Oh my god.
I think that's like this movie. Right?
That's it.
That's essentially it.
That's all we gotta say.
Let's get out.
Like, I don't know what else.
Run.
Let's run.
Like
Actually, no. We should keep talking because I don't want to talk about the next movie.
the thing is, Brendan kind of comes out of this movie unscathed.
Yes.
He's kind of the one part of this movie that, like, I mean, no disrespect to the Indian actors, like they all go on to work, and the director seemingly has something else in the pipeline. But
Maybe.
in terms of like Brendan's career, he doesn't just no one sees this in the U.S., so no one knows it exists.
I honestly didn't know it existed till I saw it on your list.
Yeah, so he just like kind of does it, makes some money, and then he comes back to the U.S. and works on suddenly two big things.
Yeah.
That's the secret of karma. I mean, that's the line of descent.
That movie has infected you.
You guys aren't ready for next week's episode on the secret of karma.
Oh, fuck.
And with that, I'll ask you to please tune in next week for our episode on
For the love of
the
God,
secret of karma.
if you're gonna listen to an episode, it's got to be next week's Secret of Karma.
I'm
Gonna be a
not
fight.
Ready.
I have
I'm not ready.
so much context
I am
about
not
the secret of karma.
ready for the secret of karma.
Oh, so I was looking up on IMDb for any fun facts about Line of Descent, and there's only
Two.
One is the film did not have a theatrical release in British Columbia, Canada. And then the
Rough for them.
and the other one is previously titled, and I think I'm going to butcher this, Yudh. Yudh.
Sounds exciting. I wonder if that. I mean, I wonder what this if this movie was released as Line of Descent nation or worldwide, or if it's just
A different name.
yeah. Anyway, that's Line of Descent. Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
No.
Well, all I can say is that's the kind of motherfucker I am.
And with that, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. As a reminder, we're available on Spotify, Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and YouTube, and Amazon, and a bunch of other fucking places. Find us on Twitter, Instagram, at TravoltingPod, TravoltingPodcast@gmail.com if you have anything to say. Find me on Twitter, at FW Sweeney, r/Travolting, Reddit. Anything you guys want to plug?
No, not for me.
I'm good.
Special thanks, as always.
Wait a minute. Justin has a Twitch channel.
Oh, I have a Twitch channel that is 25 Suit Man, same as all my other handles.
Hell yeah. Special thanks, as always, to Rebecca Johnson for the graphic design and Michael Van Bodegum Smith for the theme music that is now taking you out. Have a excellent week.